Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of Afternoon Drive Home on IC Radio in the town of Geraldine, Alabama. We are your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, as well as Abundant TV found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. I put together a list. Actually, I didn't put it together. TotallyTheBomb.com did it. And it's 25 Thanksgiving hacks to make your Thanksgiving stress-free. Okay, you've been working all day, got a lot of stuff going on, helping kids with homework, and Thanksgiving just kind of slips up on you, and a bunch of people are coming over to your house. What can you do? I got it easy for you right here. Number one, make a menu and stick to it. I got to tell you, this really does work. Make a menu. Don't go outside of that menu. There's a lot of great ideas in the world, but this one right here does it. So what you want to do, about right now, you want to go ahead and write down what you're going to cook. Okay, and if you got other folks you're going to cook too, you need to include them on this list and get with them about what they're going to bring to your house. Okay, that's going to be your delegate section of it, okay? And then forget everything else. This is like the biggest stress reducer you could possibly do. Writing it down, getting a menu, and sticking to it, okay? Make a shopping list. This is another good thing because nothing is worse I just went to the grocery store, everybody else is there at the same time, everybody's fighting over the food and what have you. You get home and you forgot the salt. The salt is like the most important part of the whole thing, okay? So make sure you do this ahead of time. Make a list. Do not go shopping unless you do it. Now, let me tell you what I like to do. I like to use my cell phone, and because I'm going to lose these little pieces of paper with a list on it, but I've always got my cell phone with me. So what I'll do is make a list and send myself a text. Or I'll do an instant messenger, and then that way I'm typing it in. It takes me forever to do the text thing. So I'll go ahead and type it and send it to myself, an instant messenger, pull it up. I got the list right there and ready to go. Unless you like checking things off as you find it. Sometimes that's the way to do it, especially if it's a huge list. Okay, you want to go a couple weeks out. We went on ahead and I've already got Phil doesn't like turkey, so I went on ahead and got a turkey for the rest of us because I love leftover turkey sandwiches. So I already got the ham and the turkey. It's in the freezer right now. You want to put that out of the freezer now a few days before you're supposed to cook it. But anyway, make sure you make that shopping list, and you'll probably shop in 3 different sessions. Okay, you'll probably shop now for some things that you can have, and and it'll stay fresh. And then just a couple of days before Thanksgiving, maybe a week before Thanksgiving, I'm going ahead and get the vegetables if it's something I'm going to have to buy because I want them as fresh as possible. Okay, number 3, grate the butter. Let me tell you how to do that because a lot of your recipes that call for folding in the butter, it could be like a pie crust, or it could be like your biscuits or some kind of dressing. It tells you to fold in the butter. Okay, so a really quick, easy hack for that is to grate it. And almost that saves a lot of time. And also your pie crust and your biscuits are flakier when you do it that way anyway. So going ahead and start doing stuff like that ahead of time and grate the butter. You can grate it and then put it in a real nice freezer bag and put it, kind of flatten it out a little bit, put it in the freezer, and it serves just as well. And you've already got that part done. And by the way, I like to make my pie crust and stuff, like even 2 months ahead of time. I'm always keeping some frozen pie crust that I make myself in the freezer because you never know when somebody's going to come over. What do you do? Okay, you're going ahead and throw it out of the freezer and let it kind of set at room temperature just a little bit, and you got pie crust. And really good for cobblers. Chop, chop. The veggies always chop the veggies, okay? So much chopping, and it takes a long time to do it. A lot of that stuff you can do ahead of time. Let me tell you a secret about potatoes. I always kind of rinse my potatoes anyway after chopping them, just to get that extra starch out of them. So what I do, even a night or 2 nights before, I'll go ahead and get those potatoes ready. And if you're going to make whatever you're going to do, if you're going to do hash browns or whatever, and you want to just shred those potatoes, or if you want to chop them, or whatever you want to do, scallop potatoes, go ahead and get them peeled and ready to go. Just make sure you put enough water on top and put them in the refrigerator. Put enough water where it covers the top of those potatoes. That's something else I already done. You don't have to rush around in the morning to do. Okay, let's see. And that's something again that you can do way ahead of time. Okay, no roll pie crust. I kind of like to roll mine out, but sometimes you get in a pinch, and this is the way to do it. Okay, so there's a recipe that you can try. You don't have to roll out the pie crust, but let me go ahead and let's get that recipe. I think you'll like this. It's real easy to put together, and so let's do it. Okay, again, you've got the pie crust ready. Again, you can do that ahead of time. Okay, no roll pie crust. This is what I'm looking for. Okay, you don't have to roll it out. What you can do is go ahead and make up that pie crust, and you'll save money if you'll make your own pie crust. I like to wrap mine up in wax paper and then go ahead and put it in a real good freezer bag. And it'll last up to almost a year. So that's something again you can put together. You don't have to roll it out. So what you can do is cut off little pieces of it with your fingers and then just press it down into the pie bowl. Sometimes I just use like maybe just a little, not, it has to be kind of like a cast iron skillet. That makes a really good pie too. If you put it in cast iron, grease the round part of it around your skillet with some really good butter, and then just move it around with your fingers and just make it its own shape. And it's really super good. And also another thing I like to do with my pie crust, I like to get a fork and kind of stick little prick it just a little bit, and then that way it doesn't rise. If like you want to make a chocolate pie, you don't want to cook the chocolate inside the pie crust, so you can go ahead and do that. Get some beans and put those, get a paper towel or something and put that on top of it, and then put your beans in it, and then that way the pie crust is not going to rise. Make your chocolate pie, pour it into that baked pie crust, and you got it going on. Okay, you know you can freeze some pies, and that saves a lot of time. Like your pecan pies and your pumpkin and sweet potato pies, you can do those like a month ahead and put those in the freezer, and those turn out real good too. Okay, oh yeah, and also you can go in, if you don't want to just go ahead and complete the pie, you can go ahead and get the sweet potatoes, the pumpkin, and all that stuff, cook that up, put it in a nice freezer bag, lay it in there. I like to flatten mine out, it's easier to thaw out. Then put it in the refrigerator the day before, and then you got it thawed out. You've already got that part done. Okay, if you want to make, say, get stale bread, I never throw anything away. Stale bread, stale cornbread, all those things, and just throw it in the freezer, and you've already got everything ready for the stuffing. Okay, let's see. Dry cornbread, make your cornbread like you normally would, but leave out the eggs, because the drier cornbread makes the dressing less soggy. Yeah, so if you wanted just to make the cornbread up, again, no eggs, it makes it drier, and so it makes a really, really good cornbread dressing. And freeze that dressing, by the way. That's another thing I like to do. I'll go ahead and have mine in the freezer for about a month before the event. And go ahead and make everything up. Don't cook it yet. Put it in the freezer. And then you got some cornbread dressing already done. All you got to do is take it out of a bag. If you want to put it in a freezer bag, that'll save some room in the freezer. And then just pour it into whatever you want to cook your cornbread dressing in. If you wanted to stuff it in the turkey or whatever you wanted to do, it's already done. Okay, let me keep up with what time it is in just a few seconds. I want to go ahead and go to a commercial break. Okay, smoked turkey. Now, I'm thinking about doing this because Phil doesn't really like turkey that much. He says it has too much of a gamey taste. I may trick him and let him think this is like a hen. Okay, like a chicken hen. Okay, I know everybody wants to cook that perfect turkey, but you know, too many things can go wrong. You can be at risk. It's got to be done. Make sure all of your turkeys and your chickens and all those things are completely done. You can make your own on the grill. And here's what this person says they do. They like to actually flavor their turkey with barbecue sauce. Now, it needs to be not like the North Carolina barbecue sauce, but like what we do here in Alabama. And, you know, anything you want to do, if you wanted to make it hot, if you wanted to make it sweet, sweet's really good that way. So all you do is, as you're turkeying it, I like to put mine in one of those browning bags. It's always going to turn out great that way. And then maybe pour a bottle of barbecue sauce on top of it. takes that game taste out of a turkey. Don't tell Phil, but I'm going to try that and make him think that it's really chicken, but it'll be turkey. I think you'll like it. Oh, and by the way, stick little fork holes inside the turkey so some of that stuff can get down into the turkey, okay? Frozen drinks. Don't worry about stress. Brew your tea, make your Kool-Aid, and put it in a gallon-sized baggie and then freeze it. Then on the big day, all you gotta do is pour it into a pitcher. I like to do stuff like that anyway. Like when we are, like you have a shower, a bridal shower, a baby shower, or something like that, and you're gonna make punch. That's a really good thing to do. Make your Kool-Aid up and maybe put it in ice cubes, and it'll stay colder longer anyway, especially when it's in the summertime. Okay, and then the Alabama weather, you never really know. We could have 80 degrees outside for Thanksgiving. You never know. I've known it to be hot and cold. It's on the same day. Okay, let's see. Let's go ahead and cut to a commercial break, and we'll be right back in just a few minutes. The Cattle Stampede Steakhouse. So who likes ribs, chicken livers, hamburger steak, and fried chicken? These are just some of the things you'll find at the bars like the Cattle Stampede in Fort Payne. And dessert is to die for. Cookies, cakes, all kinds of cobblers. And don't forget to ask for your ice cream. Not to mention the steak bar, seafood bar, barbecue bar, salad bar, and dessert bar. Plus, it's all you can eat. Come hungry and bring your friends. Lunch is Monday through Friday, 10:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. And the price is only $8.99. We're also open on Saturday and Sunday, just in time to get out of church. We're looking forward to serving you, and a great big thank you for all your business. Okay, folks, we are back. Okay, what am I going to do with the kids? It's Thanksgiving. They're wired. They've been out of school maybe a couple of days. Christmas coming up. These are some great ideas you can use for Christmas as well. So they're wired, and they're excited because family's coming over. Maybe the grandparents who live out of town are coming over. So what am I going to do with them? It's a real exciting time for the kids, okay? And let's keep that excitement in there. Nobody wants to mess up Thanksgiving. They want to help. They just want to do stuff. And they're out of school, so they're a little bored, and they're going to bug you, driving you crazy. Do you know the kids can make little placemats? Yeah, that's something really easy for them to do. Get that placemat out there, give them some crayons, and maybe let them have one for Granddad, one for Aunt Susie, one for Grandma, one for everybody, okay? And let them make their own individual little placemats. That's just a nice touch for Thanksgiving. That's a really good thing to do. Do you know that you can whip up pumpkin slime? Call it slime, and then make sure their hands are clean. And if they're going to be making the pumpkin pie, call it slime, and let them mix the eggs and the sugar and everything in that pumpkin or your sweet potato pie. Gives them something to do. And they can actually make these salt dough leaf ornaments. Keep them busy doing stuff like that. Make your own Play-Doh. So what you'll do is get some plain flour, maybe 2 cups of plain flour, 2 cups of salt. It doesn't matter what kind of salt. And you want to add just enough water to make it a good pliable dough. Let them roll it out. Give them some cookie cutters and let them make some cookie decorations. Don't forget now at the very top of that cookie that you make a little hole in it so that they can put their rope or whatever through it, thread, whatever you're going to use, and put it on the Christmas tree. You put some food coloring in there, so if they wanted a green Christmas tree, they could do that. Keep the kids busy on doing stuff like that. Okay. Thaw overnight. Don't do it the morning of. You're going to be stressing like crazy if you do that. So take everything out of the freezer that you've frozen, put it in the garage, or put it on the counter if you can find some space. You know how it is that time of the year. And that's going to even give that huge turkey time to thaw out before showtime. Just make sure you calculate about 20 minutes per pound on that turkey, okay? It needs to be completely thawed out now before you throw it into the oven. Here's something I like to do. I like to get my meats out, whether it's a ham or a turkey or a chicken or whatever I've got. And I like to do it a couple of days beforehand. And then that way, I keep it in the refrigerator and I do my marinade. You know what I use for marinade? Pickle juice. And it makes everything so moist. Yeah, use pickle juice. You'll be glad you did that. Pre-make your breakfast. Sometimes people just do breakfast instead of a dinner. You got to think ahead of time, especially if you got a huge extended family. You got your parents, you got your husband or your wife's parents, you got grandparents, you got everybody to go see everybody at the same time. Does it have to be Thanksgiving dinner with everybody? No, do a breakfast. You'll be the different one. Do the breakfast and do breakfast casseroles and stuff like that. That saves a lot of time. It really does. And most of those casseroles, almost all the casseroles, you can do those up a week ahead of time and just put them in the freezer, thaw them out the night before. You got you some breakfast casseroles. Something else you can do, and I do this all the time anyway, because Phil gets a biscuit every single morning for breakfast, and he also gets sausage if that's what he would like as well. You can scramble up sausage. If you can find it on sale somewhere, grab it up and go ahead and cook it, scramble it up, put it in really good freezer bags, put it in the freezer, and then the morning of, you've got it already scrambled up. You can put it on pizzas if you want to do a Thanksgiving pizza. That's another thing you can do. Why not do Thanksgiving pizza? Put all kinds of meat on top of it, and maybe set little trays out with turkey and with chicken and scrambled up hamburger meat and sausage and all kinds of great things like that, pepperoni, and let everybody make their own little pizza. Yeah, you can do that, or make it a real true meat lover's pizza. Yeah, that's shy any pizza place around. Sides galore. Okay, what are you going to do? No reason to make all the sides the day of. You can do your macaroni and cheese casserole. That can actually be made a few days prior and just refrigerate it. And also that green bean casserole and the candied yams. Make sure you get the kids make sure you make what they're going to like as well. If you have trouble coming up with ideas, you can always go to the same website. It's called totallythebomb.com, and look at their list of side dishes and come up with some ideas that way. You want to make perfectly formed biscuits. I don't think I've ever made a perfectly formed biscuit. I just kind of make them up in my hands and let it go with that. But if you want to make sure that they're absolutely perfect size, you can use like a wine glass, or you can use just a regular cup to make it happen. Glass is really good to use, and I like to kind of dip my glass. If I do that, I like to dip my glass in a little bit of flour, and then that way it's not going to stick. You roll it out to about 1/4 of an inch, and then just use that glass. And make sure you twist it too, by the way. So when you dip it in a little bit of flour, okay, so it doesn't stick, because remember the middle of doesn't have flour on top of it. So you get it, put it on top of that biscuit dough and twist it. And then that way you get a perfectly formed biscuit. Those are real easy to do. Do you want some fluffier mashed potatoes? You want it fluffier? Okay, I'm going to show you how to do that. You can, not all potatoes are equal, by the way. Okay, you want the French mashed potatoes, and what you want to do, or any kind of potato, it doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be those, but if you'll put just a little bit of baking soda in those potatoes while they're boiling, it's going to make those potatoes fluffier. Yeah, perfect mashed potatoes. And I'll tell you something else I like to do. Like sometimes when your tea has been sitting out on the counter, have you ever been to a restaurant, maybe the tea's been sitting out on the counter a long time, and it has this kind of weird taste to it? If you'll put just a pinch, okay, here's why you make the perfect tea. And then you can even use cheap tea bags to do this. So get your water boiling, put your tea bags in there. I like to let it boil, the tea bags boil in the water for at least 2 minutes. Turn it off. While it's still hot, get your baking soda and get a pinch of baking soda and throw it in there. Let the kids do it. It's kind of like a science project, because what's going to happen is it's going to kind of foam up a little bit. So it's kind of science-like, and let the kids, you're keeping them involved right away, and they're going to remember these things, by the way, later in life. So you get just a pinch, pour it in, put it in there, and bingo, you've got tea that's going to last all day out on the counter. I promise you it's not going to ruin. You ever heard of taking a break? You need to schedule that, okay? Because especially if you're self-employed like we are, we forget to take breaks. A break, what's that? Make sure you schedule one, and even if you are running just a little bit out of time, you're running behind a little bit, if you'll take just a 10-minute break, you'll find that it'll help you do things a lot faster. So make sure you schedule out a break. Now, making reservations. And so the author of this says, my father-in-law suggested I add this to the list. So sometimes I just go to a really nice restaurant. And if there's going to be 20 or 30 of you, make sure you call the restaurant and say party of 25 Fiesel family is going to be there, and try to schedule that. Otherwise, you're all going to be sitting there waiting on tables, okay? Because a lot of people go out to eat now on Thanksgiving. That's just another awesome thing to do. Okay, let's see. I got a few more things to do. Okay, wash potatoes in bulk. This is a really good idea to do that. Rather than washing them by hand, just run them through the dishwasher. Make sure there's no soap in it, okay, of course. And no stress and less mess, right? Another thing you can do with potatoes, which is super easy to do, is boil them in the skin. Yeah, like you do tomatoes when you're canning tomatoes. Do that also with the potatoes. And what you're going to find is they're a lot easier to peel that way. And it's a lot less waste. Now, don't forget to save those potato peels for your neighbor down the yard that probably has some chickens, because chickens really love potato peels. So make sure you do that as well. Okay, let's see. Simple light lunch. Make sure you keep the lunch easy, okay? Otherwise, you're not going to be hungry when everybody else is. So keep it easy, and don't let your kids fill up before the biggest meal of the year, okay? For lunch, you can make a quick and light apple squash soup, or maybe we do like, if our Thanksgiving is going to be for supper, we'll do just like a grilled cheese sandwich or something. And that's enough just to kind of keep you afloat. Or if you've got, some of those breakfast bars, stuff like that, that's just as good as well. So don't fill up too much. If you're preparing for lunch, just throw together something in a slow cooker. You can do that as well. Did you know that you can actually, if it's small enough and if you've got a big enough one, a cooker, a slow cooker, you can put your ham inside a slow cooker. Oh man, it's going to be so good. And if you put it in there like the night before you wake up in the morning, and that ham smells super good. And let's say you bought some meat and you're just a little concerned that it's going to be a little tough. The slow cooker is going to tone it down a little bit. And also another thing you can do with any of your meats, it doesn't matter what that meat is. If you're going ahead and put your meat inside the crock pot and put, again, pickle juice in there, or if you don't have any pickle juice, get some white vinegar, and maybe half and half water, half vinegar, and put that inside your crock pot. Your meat is going to be so tender it's not even funny. Let's go ahead and cut to another commercial break. We're going to be right back in just a minute. Let's talk about Tony's Pizza.
We're about to make your life just a little bit easier. Join Tony and April at Tony's Pizza and Subs in Center and Cedar Bluff, Alabama. We're cooking up some hot, delicious pizzas, and we'd like to bake one for you. We are home-owned, not a chain, and our pizzas are fresh, homemade with our dough made fresh daily. We have a full menu including fresh, never frozen wings, salad bars, suds, sandwiches, and much more. In Center, we have a private dining area for birthday parties, club meetings, and other events. We'll be waiting for you at 1820 East Bypass in Center, and in Cedar Bluff, 3812 Alabama Highway 9. For your convenience, you can call in your order at our Center location, 256-92 Pizza, or Cedar Bluff, 256-557-8651. And we enjoy making your life easier.
We are back. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I am your host of Afternoon Drive Home. We're talking about some little things you can do to make Thanksgiving less stressful. I don't know that I've ever been stressful on Thanksgiving, but sometimes when you got 1,000 things going on, especially if you're on your own business, okay, sometimes people just do things, not on Thanksgiving Day. Did you know that that's another thing you can do? Thanksgiving doesn't have to be on Thanksgiving Day. Let me share a little story with you. So LaBrad and Larissa are getting married, and so she has 3 sets of grandparents, And so they were concerned, what are we going to do? Because we were living in Charlotte, North Carolina at that time. They were living in the Raleigh, North Carolina area, which is a good 3.5 hours away from each other, especially on a crazy, crazy Thanksgiving week. So Larissa said, I don't know what we're going to do because we have so many places we have to be at on Thanksgiving. And I said, stop right there. I don't want to see your face on Thanksgiving or Christmas Day as far as that works. And she goes, huh? You don't want to see us? I said, not on those days. You got too many things going on. I said, so just going ahead, have Thanksgiving and Christmas with your grandparents, and y'all have a good time, and then we're going to plan another day. Do you know, I kind of have more time with them than everybody else does. Yeah, so I choose another day. It could be like maybe a week before Thanksgiving or a week after, plan a little shopping trip. And, go to Valinda Miracle's place. Valinda Miracle has a real nice place up there that you can rent out to your extended family members that are coming into town if you don't have room for them.
It's near Minton in Valley Head, Alabama. Miracle Pottery is nestled at the base of the hills at 7871 Alabama Highway 117 between Gadsden, Alabama and Chattanooga, Tennessee. Please go to our website, miraclepottery.com, for more info about our other getaway cottages. You can also call us at 256-635-6863.
That is the bacon cooker. And of course, it's made out of her pottery. And what you do is you put the bacon.
Get away from it all and get refreshed at our treehouse cottages. You will enjoy a memorable getaway with a beautiful interior, a charming outdoor space, and a prime location atop Miracle Pottery and near DeSoto Falls Trail, Little River Canyon, and Rock City. Our cottages are nestled along the foothills of Lookout Mountain, and the property features unparalleled natural beauty and countless opportunities to enjoy it all. Upon arrival, you'll immediately be
going ahead and set up a place and get in contact with me, and I can tell you how to get in contact with Valinda. Valinda's a good friend, and she treats her customers right. And very inexpensive place to stay. And look at that. And by the way, Valinda decorated every single thing there. Isn't that awesome? Such an awesome lady. And go by and check out Miracle Pottery. You'll be super glad you did that. And again, extended family, let them stay there. She has folks who stay there from all over the country. And so they seek her out. She's really easy to find from I-59, by the way. You take the exit and you're there in just a couple of minutes. Go up the mountain and it's on the right-hand side. Lots of shopping you can do there as well. There's even a golf course just right around the bend from there. And you'll love to go and just look at the leaves. I mean, it's just a beautiful place to be at. Phil and I were there last week and absolutely love it. Thank you so much for watching Afternoon Drive Home on IC Radio. In the town of Geraldine, Alabama, we are your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, as well as Abundance TV, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. We're going to have another awesome guest coming up next. Thank you again so much for watching. You're very, very special to us. I hope these hacks help you out. Again, go to this website, totallythebomb.com. totallythebomb.com. Don't you just love those websites? Real easy. We'll see you a little later.
Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales look forward to serving you. And you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Fort Payne and Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by the locations in Fort Payne and Gadsden. We sincerely look forward to serving you.
So who likes ribs, chicken livers, hamburger steak, and fried chicken? These are just some of the things you'll